A moment of silence for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who unfortunately fell to the Boston Bruins this National Hockey League playoff 2019. Pretty disappointed. I thought they had a good run in them. I thought they were going to get through, but the Boston Bruins are a strong team. Moment of silence for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then my intro. Thanks for coming out, guys. Another episode of Coach Wondergeddon. I am your coach, Wondergeddon. We have not talked about a few things in a while, so we're going to do a catch-up today. I'm going to talk about the NBA playoffs. I'm going to talk about the NHL playoffs, and I'm going to talk a very little bit about baseball. First, I am going to talk about the NBA Finals. The NBA Finals. Not gonna lie, Western Conference, a little bit of a surprise. Houston and Portland are already past the first round, which isn't much of a surprise. The surprise is that Golden State and the Denver Nuggets are not out of the first round of the playoffs yet. They're both down, or they're both up 3-2 against the number 8 and the number 7 seed. That's a huge deal. Golden State is the number 1 seed. They are fighting with the number 8 seed Clippers, 1-8 battle, which surprises me. 2-7 is the Denver Nuggets and the San Antonio Spurs. That is also 3-2 Nuggets. Again, very surprising. Let's see. Portland Trailblazers put a hurting on OKC Thunder. And I cannot even remember who the fourth match is, funny enough. It was Houston versus Utah. And Houston put the smash on that. Houston off to the second round. And they're going to figure out whether they're going to be playing the Golden State Warriors. And Portland's waiting to see if they're going to be playing Denver or the Spurs. Great NBA basketball, playoff basketball has been played thus far, and I'm not expecting that to change. The East, a lot of the weaker guys are out of the league. No offense to the 5 to 8 seed teams, but we knew that the East was a 4 heavy team, and we got exactly that. In the East is a little bit different. The East, these guys are putting a smash on these guys. Bucks smashed the Pistons. They're eliminated. Nothing really to see. The Bucks dominated. Celtics smashed the Pacers. Again, another domination. Toronto smashed the Orlando Magic, and the 76ers smashed the Nets. You're talking about a 4-0. You're talking about 4-1s. The second round's already decided. It's going to be the Bucks versus the Celtics, and you're going to see Toronto versus the 76ers. It is going to be great. I don't know who's going to win between the Bucks and the Celtics, but I am guessing that whoever does win is going to take about 7 games to do it. I don't see the same for Toronto. I don't want to jinx them, but I think Toronto's going to beat up the 76ers. I don't think that bench is good enough to beat the Raptors. I don't see it. I think they only have one player in their bench that I would they don't have anyone. 76ers don't have anyone on their bench that's going to match up well against the Raptors. I'm expecting the Raptors to beat them up. Thank you, TSN, for the bracket. And we are going to talk about NHL playoffs next. NHL playoffs 2019. Funny things happen every year. in the NHL playoffs. 16 teams, 4 divisions, 1 number 1 seed from each division, 2 wild cards equals 16 players. So the question is, how many number 1 seeds do you think advanced to the second round of the NHL playoffs this year? The answer, absolutely none. None. Do you hear me? No number 1 seed. All number 1 seeds in this format have been eliminated. The Nashville Predators, number 1 seed, gone. Gone. Dallas Stars said no to that. Calgary Flames, number 1 team, Avalanche outed that. They're gone. Tampa Bay Lightning, number 1 seed. Columbus Blue Jackets must have been made with rubberized clothing because they didn't care about Lightning. Lightning gone. Washington Capitals, number 1 seed. Carolina Hurricanes outed that. Turned them all to lower cases. Capitals gone. As I said earlier, the Bruins hurt me. Took my double parade dreams away when they beat my Toronto Maple Leafs. Right when I start to believe in the Maple Leafs, they always do this to me where I start to believe. I join the crowd. Yes, Maple Leafs, and then they lose. And they do this to me every year. And you know what? Next year, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to jump on the bandwagon late. And then I'm going to, right when I'm on there, got a nice little seat, season done, and I'm going to have to rock a Carolina Hurricanes jersey and ride out the rest of the playoffs. But that's what happens. Winnipeg Jets gone. St. Louis Blues beat them. The Sharks beat the Vegas Golden Knights. The Islanders beat the Pittsburgh Penguins, which surprised me a little bit as well. I thought they were gonna rebuild with Tavares gone, but he came to the Leafs and they got better. Gotta love parity, man. This is what happens when you got a whole bunch of good teams. The divisions are good. Everything about it is fun. NHL is really a fun sport to watch, guys. But so unpredictable. So unpredictable. I can't believe every number 1 team is gone. Every number 1 team is gone. That's crazy. We're gonna talk about baseball next. Give me a couple seconds. Major League Baseball, guys. I'll be honest with you, it's early. And the only reason why you care if it's this early in the season is because you have a fantasy league like I do. So, we had a couple questions from the audience. First question is, what are we going to do with the starting pitchers? A lot of elite starting pitchers have terrible records in the beginning of the season. What do, you ask? I'm glad you asked the coach, Wondergeddon. This is what you're going to do. You're going to hold tight. Be patient with these starting pitchers. And I know some of you guys have pitchers who you think are doing pretty good and going above themselves. Those guys tend to calm down as well. But right now, there's a lot of stud class A pitchers who are playing like garbage right now. And I wouldn't say garbage. I wouldn't say absolute garbage, but I'll say that the record doesn't match the effort. I'll say that. Garrett Cole, 1-3. Crazy. Max Scherzer, 1-3. Doesn't even make sense. Even Sonny Gray is 0-3 in Cincinnati. He hasn't gotten any wins yet. Chris Sale from Boston is 0-4. What do you do with these guys? Nothing. You hold pat. These guys are elite. Well, maybe you could trade Sonny Gray. If you could get something good for Sonny Gray, then great. But Garrett Cole, Scherzer, keep those guys. Chris Sale, obviously keep those guys. They're going to pan out. They still play for Boston. They still play for Houston. They still play for the Nationals. They're going to win their games. They're going to get their strikeouts. They're going to hit you with every other stat. Don't worry about these guys. Stand pat. Don't trade these guys unless someone gives you an absolute blockbuster. Hold on to your love. You got to hold on. In Vogue. Second question is this one right here. Who can help you in the stolen base department without ruining your other categories? Good question as well, guys. Listen, unless you drafted Jose Ramirez, maybe Tim Story or Adalberto Mondesi, picking up a stolen base player is going to be rough. They are going to kill you in some other category almost all the time, unless you picked up those guys from those guys I just mentioned earlier. If you pick up a guy like Billy Hamilton from KC, or maybe a Malik Smith for stolen bases in Seattle, they're gonna come with some low averages. It's just what they do. If you see a D Gordon or maybe Tim Anderson from the Chicago White Sox, I would say pick them up. They're really hard to find though. I think they should be about 80 or 90% picked up. But if you're on one of those leagues that is overlooking them, unless you have a really, really good team, pick one of those guys up, because they're probably the closest you're gonna have to stolen base capable guys who are not gonna destroy you in every other category. Good question. Coach Wondergeddon is going to be a thing. Ask Coach Wondergeddon hashtag. You can ask me these questions. I'm gonna answer it. So that's it, guys. That's it for this episode. What did we learn today, folks? Another episode. Thanks for watching. Today we learned that hockey is the most unpredictable sport ever, or I would say unpredictable playoffs ever. Last year when Vegas made their way to the finals in their first year of existence, that kind of screwed up last year too. Not even that they made the playoffs, they made the finals. That was crazy. If you've ever seen every division leader eliminated in any sport ever, feel free to let me know, because as far as I'm concerned, it's never happened. NBA, a little bit more predictable. Even if the Spurs and Clippers do upset Golden State and Denver, they still wouldn't be as big as a surprise as 4 division leaders disappearing in the first round of a playoff format. Denver and Boston still have champ aspirations, where that city wins 2 championships in 1 year, but that doesn't happen very often. I don't know if it's ever happened. Somebody call me out if it did happen, but I do not remember that happening. And lastly, be a little bit more patient with fantasy baseball than you would with basketball or football, because it's very easy to throw away a great piece of your team. Thanks for watching, guys. Next week we're going to talk about some WWE. We're going to talk about some we're going to talk about some UFC and WWE. Kofi Kingston got kicked in the face by Kevin Owens. Bray Wyatt is now Mr. Rogers meets Doink the Clown. And who won the Superstar Shakeup? We're going to talk about that next week. That's going to be it. Thanks for watching, guys. Another episode of Coach Wondergeddon. I am your Coach Wondergeddon. Thanks for watching.